Testing.
Test. Is that too close?
I don't know. You have the headphones on.
That's so true.
Okay. I'm so scared.
I know, me too.
Ooh.
I'm so nervous.
Okay.
I don't like being nervous.
Me neither. But we'll reward ourselves with so many levels of bubble trouble after this.
I can't believe how close I was to beating 17. I'm so upset.
I mean, that's like really on the nose for this episode.
It really is. Wow.
Like getting so close and being so dissatisfied.
So upset.
How come I can't achieve? How come I can't achieve? I'm rolling up my sleeves. Oh baby, I believe these guests can help. 'Cause I can't do it by myself. I wanna jizz.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to How Come. Oh my God, I've been dreading this episode, but I have someone really special here with me. You guys know her from being the researcher and producer on seasons 1 and 2. I know her from living with her my entire life. You guys, it's my sister, Charlotte. Welcome, Charlotte.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me. It's so exciting to be here again.
Oh, I love you so much.
I love you so much. I feel like my voice just cracked when I said that. I'm so nervous.
We're so scared. No, I have been dreading doing this episode. You guys may have noticed kind of an episode drought. Like they only come out every so often. And there's a reason for that. One, you know me. I'm me. But also two, I have been in the midst of the longest orgasm drought that I have ever had since actually having an orgasm.
That's hard.
Yeah. It's been like 5 months, maybe even 6.
Interesting.
Yes. And so we'll talk about that and like why I think that is. And then a bunch of you guys submitted how long your droughts have been, how you got out of them, all that stuff. But yeah, it was making it really hard for me to record episodes because I was so jealous. Like of interviewing people who were having these like full sex lives or like just even hearing stories about people being able to come when I'm like, oh my God, I have not done that in such a long time.
I'm sure it's also just like not even just jealous, but like, man, I wasn't thinking about it and now I'm thinking about it again and hearing about it. And it's like, it stresses you out even more probably.
Yeah, and it feels like a little fraudulent, which like I know it's not, but like running this podcast and being like, I did it, it was easy and then whatever. Yeah. But like every time we're vulnerable, it turns out that this is something that other people have gone through. And so I did do some polls and a lot of people have gone through droughts before. The first time I heard about orgasm droughts was Sex and the City.
Oh, yeah.
When Samantha's like, I lost my orgasm. And she ended up getting them back.
Did they ever
say why?
Did they ever think that it was menopause?
I don't remember. I don't remember pause.
I don't remember pause.
Pause for research.
I mean, obviously, like we just did this randomly and without prep, but like I looked very briefly online. I was like, a lot of the stuff that comes out is always like a sex drought, or it's due to like menopause, or it's like I lost
a hormonal
it after
change or pregnancy,
or like chemo, or I lost something. And I'm like, I think that it can not have as clear cut a reason. And that's what both makes it harder for the individual to like deal with, but also that more helpful when it is talked about.
Yeah, nothing worse than being undiagnosed. But yes, Charlotte was not brought on this episode for research. She was literally brought on for comfort because I've been wanting to talk to you guys about this for a while, but I'm just like, I'm not cozy about it. It feels weird. And it also feels like if I say it out loud, then like I have to put myself back into the assignments probably and like having to like go back and like really do the work, which feels like pressure. Obviously it was the reason why the podcast started in the first place, but it's like initially it was just unlocking it. And I was so good at it for such a long time. I was a real quick study. I was having multiples all the time. Like I could masturbate out of boredom and have orgasms, like without even being turned on in the first place. I was an A+ student.
Now you feel like Your grades are going down?
Yeah, my grades are going down. I'm about to be kicked out of school. I used to have a 4.0. Now I have no O. So let me just research this Samantha thing.
Yeah, I want to look this up too. I found the episode, but...
Season 4, episode 8.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, this is so funny. The episode is My Mother Bored Myself.
When her computer
when
breaks.
Carrie's computer breaks. You know whose computer broke?
Yours.
In the last few... Yeah.
Wow.
Whoa. That's another reason for the lack of episodes. Like, my computer conked out. My vagina dried up. Technu and Vagnu were in cahoots. So, and my this recording device broke for a little bit.
That's so crazy.
That's so crazy. And wait, can I tell you something even crazier?
Yes.
So Ben and I go to the Apple store with my computer. The guy is like, there's nothing you can do. Much like this episode, he's like, you're going to either need to pay like $400 to get it like wiped and restarted. Yeah. I was like, I don't want to do that. He's like, or you could just invest in a new computer. For some reason, I was like, I'm not going to do that for a bit. Like, I need to like, I don't know. I wanted to get another credit card so I could put it on and get points or whatever. Was putting it off. The other day, I get to Ben's house and what is on his bed is my computer, which has a little graffiti on it that says, I'm alive.
What?
Because he had left his computer at a friend's house and then was like bored and wanted to watch Bob's Burgers. And he was like, let me just see if I can reboot this thing. And he like looked up a bunch of hacks. That's the computer that's with us today.
Wow.
That we were playing Bubble Trouble with. Yeah. So maybe he can unlock my motherboard myself.
My motherboard myself. God, back in the times when like your computer breaking was just like the worst thing in the world. And Aiden's like, you didn't back up?
Yeah. Should have backed up my orgasms.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the main story of this episode. Samantha's orgasm drought. Charlotte is like Sex and the City Charlotte, not my Charlotte. Charlotte says, I read this article about a woman who's having orgasms around the clock and then boom, orgasms stopped for good. It was like she had used them all up or something. And that's what I thought I had done because I was like, I should not have been actively masturbating so much.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Samantha was troubleshooting her own laptop. She was determined to just relax, unwind, and let the rest of the world fall away. By nightfall, Samantha called off the search party. Somewhere in the city of lost dreams and missing persons, Samantha's orgasm remained at large. Did they ever say how she got them back? I feel like they didn't. Do you remember?
No, but I don't think this is the point.
Okay. I feel like if we don't say it, it's like very edging.
But I think part of it is like she calls off the search and then it's like it happens.
And she just like relaxes. Yeah. Oh, wait. Okay. It's the same episode that Miranda's mom died. Mm-hmm. And then Samantha starts crying. And it's like, finally, Samantha found the release she really needed. She cried for everything she couldn't say and for the things she didn't even know she felt. Okay. So in this, it's like crying is the release, which... Okay.
Interesting.
We can assume that she just gets him back after that.
Yeah, nothing about menopause. I just pulled up the whole transcript.
Yeah.
Or something. Whatever. If I seem distracted, I am.
Okay.
Because they know as much as I do, essentially.
I know, the listeners.
So I have questions.
Yeah. No, ask me all the questions. I'll tell you no lies.
Okay, because like before we attack a solution, I don't want to call it a problem yet.
Yeah.
Like things come in waves.
It's an opportunity.
Pressure is a privilege.
Yeah.
Billie Jean King.
Oh.
I can't stop saying that lately. Anyway, let's talk about the weed journey and what you said to me about crying today.
Okay. All right. This comes off the heels of Samantha crying. So my diagnosis of why this is happening is because this has been one of the hardest years of my life. Some things I cannot talk about, but everything else I will speak about. And I have just been super depressed. And like, you guys know that I've gone through that before. And I got to a really, really bad place. Trigger warning, suicidal ideation. And I was just wanting to quit everything. I wanted to quit stand-up, quit podcasting, quit my relationship, quit my life. And I was crying every day and just like sitting in my bed, willing myself to die at times. And there were some days that, I called you and Josh and I explained like how I was feeling, and you guys like talked me down and were really sweet about it. But it kept happening. And I just was like, I don't like my life. I don't like anything that's going on. At this point, I had already been not coming for like 4 months. So I wasn't getting any release in that aspect either. And so I called my old therapist I guess she's what's it called when they can give pills?
Psychiatrist.
A psychiatrist. I called my old psychiatrist who I had quit 3 years ago. And I'd been seeing other psychiatrists or therapists like in the meantime, but I had quit her specifically because every time I would see her, she would be like, how much are you smoking? Like, do you think this has any effect on like your mood and how you feel about things? And I was like, no. And like every week she would come in with like a different study of like what weed can do to you, especially if you're like a person that like suffers from anxiety and depression. And one session I remember she was like, I think like you need to quit or like cut back or whatever. And I was like, okay, I quit you. I'm done. I don't want to see you anymore. Like I had this like weird feeling that I would not know who I was if I wasn't smoking anymore, because there was so much of like my stand-up wrapped up in smoking. And like, you guys know that like, it's like part of my brand, like whatever, not part of my brand, but like, it just felt like a big part of my personality. It felt like a big part of why different people hung out with me. Yeah. Whether it was like friends that I had like bonded over, like, oh yeah, like come over and we'll smoke, or like comics that would like be like, oh, like thanks for smoking me out after shows. And like, even like with Ben, like, and I told him this, I remember when she first suggested it, I was like, what if I don't get along with my boyfriend anymore? Like, I'm not giving up my relationship. I'd rather like keep smoking weed, like, which is like, what?
Sure.
You shouldn't be with anybody if you can't quit a substance. Yeah. Or be fully yourself with them. Anyway, so I called her again and she was like, long time. And I was like, for sure. This is what's going on. I'm super, super sad. I want to die, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, can I ask how much you're using again? And I was like, like, it's from morning till sunset. Like, it was a lot. It was a lot to the point that like I was like scheduling things around it, kind of like nickel and diming people if like I was smoking them out. Like it was like getting like weird. And so I'm telling her all this and she's like, okay, do you think you might want to quit? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, whoa. And I was like, yeah, like, no, like I'm willing to do anything. Like I feel so bad that like I will do whatever. And so I went cold turkey, and the first 2 weeks were like pretty rough because like I was just not hungry. My body felt really weird. I had to like replace the habit with, I told the listeners of DST this, I replaced the habit of rolling and smoking with making iced tea and drinking it, but decaf. So that like gives the hands something just to do. Oral fixation. Yeah. And just like an activity. And decaf so that I could have it before bed because I like iced tea.
Yes.
And it's been about 39 days now that I haven't smoked, and I feel a little better. I don't feel perfect, but I feel a little better.
Yeah. Tell me more about like, weed was something you always felt like it kept you sane, but it also was making you cry a lot. I can't say it like it was making you, but
no, I was in a very deep depression and I was crying all the time.
When was the last time you cried?
I haven't cried in like a month.
That's wild. I know. Like that's really wild. And when you said that to me, I was like, maybe your body's just like taking a break. It's like, I don't feel like crying. I don't feel like coming. I'm just like, pausing for a moment.
Yeah.
But like, I'm very proud of you, first of all, for like all of this. Insanely proud.
Thank you.
It's so amazing. You are wonderful.
Thank you.
But I really got to get back to this orgasm.
Okay, wait. But also before we do that, I should just say this, don't just go cold turkey without coupling it with therapy. Like, I don't think it's just no weed. It's like I've been
for sure
paying a lot more attention to like my mental health, and like that was something I was doing in therapy before, especially with the other people that I was seeing when I quit her, is like I would just go into bitch. I wouldn't go into like address real issues that I was thinking.
Yeah.
And now I'm like doing that. Like if I'm like ruminating on an issue for the week, I like go in and I'm like, hey, I did this. And they're like, okay, well, here's why. Or like, this is okay because.
Totally. So one thing, again, like I'm learning the details in real time.
Mm-hmm.
One of those is that you said you had lost it before you quit weed. What was that kind of like process like, I guess? Like, did you notice it at first? Like the first time you didn't come, was that like by yourself with Ben? Like, and then like when did it become a thing you started realizing more of and thinking about?
I'm with myself a lot more than I'm with him, especially like, you know, during the day is when I would masturbate like, I don't know, like 6 times a day.
Yeah. That's a lot of times.
I know. That's why I'm like, did I use them up? But no. I would do it to like procrastinate all the time. Like we talk about procrastinating.
Yeah.
And it would just like, I would get to like the ooh, and then it would like go away.
Okay.
Or like, I think in the first few months, I didn't really know. I was like, okay, it's not really working, but like it must be because like this toy is dying, or it must be because this toy is too strong,
or maybe because you do it in our dad's apartment.
I was gonna say that too.
I'm sorry.
No. So I've been living with our dad for like the past 2 years, because when I got home from Portland, I came to like the worst rental market in New York history. And he was like, just like move in here. And it was supposed to be temporary, was looking for places, still am looking for places. But then when the depression hit, he was like, you are not living alone. That would be scary. And yeah, that definitely, I think, puts a weirdness on it. Like it was kind of weird with Nanny, but like she was very sequestered to her own room, whereas like, you know, dad likes to pop in.
She wasn't like getting up.
Yeah, she couldn't get up like unless she was like calling me or somebody else. He's a pop in guy. There was somebody very close to us who was in the apartment one day who caught me masturbating one day. It was not him. And I don't think she even knew what I was doing, but like I did.
Right.
And that, oh my God, I haven't even thought about that in a while.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not in a safe place.
You're not in like a sexy safe place.
Yeah.
Like, free your mind.
Yeah.
It's like, Dad?
Yeah. Also, let me be clear. Our dad is not home for like most of the daytime. Or most of the time I am trying. Yeah, he's not like in the house, but it is his house.
Right. It's in our childhood
and my
bedroom.
Yeah. Which has traumas of its own, just living in that room. But
for me, it was split in half and I had to walk around to get to the bathroom.
Listen, I was like not the nicest child. Also,
no, we had fun.
Our brothers split up the room, and I was just like mirroring that I was like, oh, that's like a cool sibling thing to do. There were a lot of things I did as a kid that I was like, oh, that's a thing that kids do. Like I went to like preschool and one of my friends sucked her thumb and I was like not a thumb sucker, and I was like, oh wait, kids do this. Let me but anyway, so being in that room, not ideal.
Right.
And then when I would try and do it like at Ben's house, I think I was already in my head that I was like, I can't do this alone. Why would I be able to do it with you here?
Right.
And then not just the orgasm dried up, but like me physically dried up. Like we required so much lube.
That's okay though.
For such a long time. And I know that's okay. Like I have a bunch of friends who are like, yeah, lube forever. Like no matter what. But I had always been pretty juicy. You hate that word?
I really didn't like that at all.
I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Okay. I had always been
that, like, it wasn't a concern.
Fine. And I am proud to update actually that like 2 weeks ago, we were able to have penetrative intercourse.
Wonderful.
Vaginally, no lube.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Like maybe the weed was drying out my mouth and my pussy.
I think that's like a real thing. Okay, again, this is not a researched episode. I'm just talking as a person.
Yes.
Like, that feels real to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so quick question.
Okay.
Did you ever fake it?
No.
Okay.
Sometimes I would, I think, kind of try and like fake it to myself.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah. Like start like making the faces
tenses.
and like, yeah, definitely clenching the butt a lot. So it wasn't like cold turkey with the orgasms that they just stopped. Like sometimes it would be like, okay, maybe once a week. And then it got slower. And then there were like times that like I was like praying like while I was doing it, when I go, please, 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 please.
I think that's super relatable.
Oh, please, just and one
just
time,
once,
one time it like took it over the edge, and I was like, oh, thank you.
Okay, another thing that I was thinking about is sex drive versus orgasm. How's the sex drive?
I would say like way less.
Because I also think like a lot of people relate to like coming to release stress or like to procrastinate or you're bored or whatever. But at the same time, it's like, then it's sort of like disassociating from
the reason why you're doing it. Yeah, exactly.
And I'm all for like a stress jerk, if you will. But like
stress jerk, you know that song, Cool Jerk?
I do not.
Okay. No, you know it. It's like cool jerk, cool jerk.
Oh, yes, I do know it.
Yeah, of course.
Have you tried to take a break?
Okay, so that's what I was thinking. That like maybe as with weed, I was like, is this my other addiction? Like, is this like just like something I do to pass the time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Also, though, it's like anything in life, I think. It's where it's like, if you're doing it a lot, you also are desensitizing your body to it. Like, if you think of it in very simple terms for penis people, if they don't come for a longer period of time than they're used to, the next time is like,
amazing.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah.
Super fast.
Yeah.
You need to take a break.
Yeah.
Let your clit develop some feelings again.
It's great. No, but it's great. Like, it feels like it has no feelings.
Because
like,
you literally can like desensitize it.
Yeah. And not just saying like, oh, if you masturbate so much, you're going to definitely desensitize it. I think the way that you're saying it is like, I'm doing it in moments where I'm not even turned on. Like, how can I expect it to like, just like wake up?
Yeah. Interesting. That's like desensitizing in two ways.
Yeah.
It's like desexitizing.
Desexitizing.
Desensitizing.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Okay. I really do think though and when I say that like, oh, desensitizing, that does not mean forever.
Yeah.
At all. Yeah. That's literally like, just give it a little break, even if it's like 2 weeks and then go back to it.
Yeah. Maybe that's my assignment. Ooh, we have an assignment. Is just lay off for 2 weeks.
Right.
But I also noticed that I keep my toy in the bed with me all the time. Like I never like put it away. It's just like always there and at like an arm's length. So it's
interesting.
It feels like
it's
a little pacifier. Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
It's not like a special thing. Like I feel like in the beginning of the podcast, it was like, romance yourself.
Yeah.
Set the tone, light some candles, like be sexy. And this is just kind of like, oh, I'm like binging Golden Girls and or totally. Like I'm trying to edit an episode
and it's like super distracted and just like again, a pastime, not like the event.
Yeah.
It really does remind me of like partnered sex too, and what Ian Kerner talked about of like spontaneous versus the other one.
What was the other one? It was like spontaneous and responsive desire.
Ah, gorgeous. Responsive. Okay, so I don't know why I feel the need to like say this again, but like it's okay if it's not always romance. It's not always, you know, like, but I think once this becomes a thing, a person's stressed about, it's like, give it a break and then do take the time to romance again, you know, make it a special thing and not like it's just there. I feel like in 2 weeks, you'll be right back, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but it also in the desire category when I was talking about like kind of being dried up, like I feel like with Ben, I was like going through the motions of sex too. Like everything felt so numb.
Yeah.
I wanted so badly to feel sexual and feel close and connected and stuff. There's a part of me that's still very much like, how can we be romantic if we're not having sex? You know, are we just glorified roommates or are we just besties that there's no chemistry, even though like still very attracted? I was just like, ugh, like what does this mean about our relationship?
It does make sense.
So I would try and like do it, but then like we would have to stop a lot. It was like painful a lot for me. And I felt bad.
Yeah.
I felt bad for him. I felt bad for me. I mean, he's fine.
I think that's where a lot of people go, though. It's just you have so many thoughts and stress of like, I hope I'm not taking too long for me. Like, it's frustrating for me. I hope they're not frustrated. Why isn't this happening? It's just like all this negative self-talk and stress. And that's why I'm like, try to just like take the pressure off. And I would honestly like, I am no expert. Like go back to the basics like you did in the very beginning in a way.
I know. So I was thinking about redoing my assignments.
Yeah. Or like certain ones that you feel good about.
Yeah. I think the first one of just like devoting 30 minutes to yourself and not expecting orgasm is really good.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh at that, but it just reminds me. I don't know why the other night I was like brushing my hair and putting like pimple dots on my face, you know, like the spot dots.
Yeah.
And Josh like came out of the bathroom and Josh was like, "Oh, that's so cute." I was like, "What is?" He's like, "Self-care, so sexy."
Oh my God. Wait, you guys, you don't even know about Josh.
Oh, sweet boy.
My sister Charlotte has a wonderful fiance.
But what do you have?
I have a new brother-in-law to be and also fiance. Not Ben. I just call Josh our fiance because we are very excited. And congratulations to Charlotte and Josh.
Oh, thank you. It's such a good one.
He's a really good one.
But yeah, that was really funny. And also, self-care is sexy.
Yeah. Yeah. And in larger terms too, whenever you think of like people that you are attracted to, it's like they take care of themselves. Like they care about their job. They care about what they put in their body, whether it's like a healthy thing or they just care about like nourishing themselves or like making themselves have a nice time.
Or just how
eating.
You feel about yourself.
Yeah.
Like take others out of the situation.
Yeah.
Like I always used to say when I know that like I have my shit together, it's when I'm wearing my night guard at night. Obviously, it's a night guard.
Yeah.
And like getting my nails done. It all cycles into like the same good feeling. And like, I'm not talking about like going keto or, you know, like being very intense about it. But like, I'm like, these little self-care things make me feel so good when I do them.
I told you what I did for self-care last week.
The glue?
No. Okay, I'll explain the glue very quickly. This was another thing that I replaced the weed habit with is my friend, she was like, can you buy me some nail glue? Because like one of my nails fell off. I was like, sure. I bring it to her. She goes, thank you. Because somebody brought me Elmer's glue and like, what the fuck? And I was like, oh my God, can I have that? And she was like, why? And I've been doing this thing where I'll take like a dollop of glue, I'll smush it between my palms, I let them dry for a while so it keeps my hands busy instead of like smoking or something like that. And then I peel them off in sheets and now I make art out of it.
Okay. First of all, I am not laughing at that. I was just hoping that wasn't the self-care.
No.
But that is a form of activity self-care. Like mental soothing. But I also want to say, like, not laughing at that, because Remy is one of the most insanely artistic, creative people. And like, I don't know if you guys are aware of this just through like Instagram and stuff, but like when you made like that seaweed outfit, like, holy
thank you.
shit. Like,
thank you.
She had like, I cannot draw. She's incredible. Just like, this
We
isn't
used
some
to-
weird glue thing. It actually looks really cool.
Yeah, thank you. No, I made them into like little roses, and then I started making a top out of the glue thing. Maybe we'll see that soon. I don't know.
No, it's see-through.
Ben says it's hot.
Wear it with him.
Yeah, I'm always wondering. I'm like, does the audience like want to see my nipples, or do you guys view me as more of like a mother figure, or neither? Write in.
Or people have many different views.
Right.
I'm your sister, so like, I don't need it.
If I post it, I will warn you on the day.
I know, I appreciate it. She sent a message to her like family group or something, being like, I put up a birthday post, but just a warning, my ass is on it.
Oh yeah, no, I put that on my story. I was like, family and friends who
Yes.
don't necessarily want to see my ass, like, shield your eyes.
I thought that was a cute photo though.
Thank you. One guy commented on it, "What the fuck," and unfollowed me.
See, to me, it's funny when it's like not trying to be like ultra sexy. It's like when
it's
it's
just
a
like
joke,
my little
it's
butt.
so funny.
Yeah,
But there are people there who are clearly for other reasons.
yeah.
I'm all for the butt joke.
But I also think maybe that guy thought somebody else was pushing me against the shower, and that's why you saw the butt. Like, maybe he thought it was like a porn situation, but I was like, no, it was just me in the shower pushing my butt against the shower door.
I wouldn't put too much thought into
Yeah,
what this
who
weirdo
cares?
thinks.
Goodbye. But anyway, so my self-care, no, I texted you last week. I was like, as a form of self-care, I got my armpits waxed.
It was amazing.
Yeah, which, grow your armpits out if you like it. I have liked it before, but like my armpits have been so itchy lately, and I didn't want anything
with the
there.
heat.
And with the heat, and I got them waxed, and I got my lip waxed too. That was a mistake. I got like 6 pimples immediately.
It's the worst.
But I did it for like a little self-care, and I felt good for the most part after the pits. So I also will say, before we get into other people and why they've had their droughts, we have discussed this before. SSRIs are a thing that can make you lose your libido, lose your orgasms, all that stuff. I had been on Lexapro for a really long time. It was my old doctor, the one I quit 3 years ago, who put me on. And then there was some part of this year, like, I feel like the depression has been like 10 months, you know? So there was some part of it that I was like, why am I even taking these pills? They're clearly not working. And I just stopped, which I do not recommend. I did not do it under the care of a doctor. I did not do it with any like one recommending it. I had heard that Lexapro stopped working in general. So that was something that my doctor was like, well, maybe it's because like you went off and like your body was and I was like, that doesn't sound like it makes sense. And I was put back on 5 milligrams instead of 10 this time. So that's where I am with the medicine of it all.
I hear that Wellbutrin is effective and doesn't affect libido.
I had
Again, I'm not a
said
doctor.
that to her because of our SSRIs and sex episode where people, like a lot of people had recommended Wellbutrin.
Oh, yeah?
And she was like, it might exacerbate your anxiety.
Interesting.
Yeah. But I'm in a phase of like, okay, well, let's figure it out. You know, like one thing at a time. Maybe it's just like, stop masturbating for 2 weeks.
I think that's
Like
number
just
one
stop
priority.
trying. Yeah.
One thing I was reading today was Gigi Engel, who
Our
was
friend.
who's on the pod,
She's on Foot Fetishes and Kink.
also had a drought.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
It was an article from a few years ago, and she said like so many of the same things you're feeling of being like, I felt like a fraud, like I'd been so empowered by my sexuality, like she'd given so much advice to women as
This
a
is
writer.
my thing.
And she's like, it to feel like so little control felt very disheartening.
Yeah.
But she also gave like a really interesting point of view of, like we talked about, you're desensitizing the area.
Yeah.
She said she was, for sure. And giving a break helped a lot. But then also a lot of that like sexual energy can be directed elsewhere. And it does sound a little like, ugh, we know. But if you're trying to get this feeling of like release, like you can get that with doing arts and crafts with glue, you know, or like it's different for everyone, but like you can get it singing or listening to a really good song. It's like direct it elsewhere and then come back to it, you know?
Somebody recommended working out, said
Yes.
it really worked for him just to like get the blood flowing and all that stuff.
Totally. Yeah, that's the other thing about working out, like, which of course is so good for you, but it's like you do need your blood to be flowing to an extent. It's like why being cold isn't helpful for an orgasm.
Yeah.
Like, so I'd say take a break, do some treadmill walking,
Put your socks on.
to really great music.
Yeah.
Put your socks on.
I've been doing more like little stupid mental health walks around
Nice.
the park just for my brain.
Yeah.
But like, of course it's going to help the body too.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So thank you for that very limited research. Again, I did not ask Charlotte to do any research before this. I was just like, I kind of need you to just hold my hand and
I'll hold your foot.
be
It's
my
closer.
sister support. Oh my God, your hand is so cold.
I know. I'm so sorry.
She's got Raynaud's.
Yeah.
Or is it Raynaud's?
Raynaud's?
Raynaud's. Makes your hands chilly. It's really nice
your
in the
feet.
summer.
Any extremities.
So
They
nice
always
when
say
she
finger,
touches the
toes,
back of
nose,
your
butt.
neck. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that is great. Dad's calling me. Ugh.
Go
Why?
away. Literally, you're interrupting
Go
everything
away.
all the time.
Like I love you, but go
We
away.
love you so
Look
much.
at his face in this photo too.
Oh my God, he's so cute.
Yeah, I'll call him later.
Okay. So I asked the companions because I was like, ooh, am I alone in this? Logically, I knew no, but I needed you guys to weigh in. And the stats of these polls were very affirming for me. So the first one I asked was, have you ever lost your orgasms? 29% of you said yes for a while. 33 said yes just for a little bit. 26 said no, I haven't. And 12% said I haven't had an orgasm yet in general. To that 12%, go back, do the first 6 assignments. You can do it. We believe in you. Yay. To the no, I haven't, good for you. But if it does happen, you won't be alone. And yeah, I was surprised that it was 29% had lost it for a while and that 33 had lost it at all. So that made me feel good. And I asked a little more specifically, like how long? Someone said 4 months. Someone said 2 to 3 months, a couple of months. Someone said as long as I was on SSRIs, it was so rare I could get there. One person said 1 year because of fucking Lexapro. Wow. Someone said just for individual encounters or sometimes with a certain individual, which I think that's a little more to be expected. Somebody said 6 years. Someone said on and off for 6 months. Someone said, I think mine are fading out, so we'll see, which is how I felt at the beginning. Like, remember, I think I made the analogy that like my orgasms were like somebody had been pinching a garden hose. And then when it became unpinched, it was like, psh.
Yeah.
Like this feels like the whole, this feels like the hose, somebody like turned it off and it's like,
Yeah.
beep, 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 drip, 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 and then just done. So if you're going through that, that's what happened to me. And hopefully, you know, they don't fade out completely. And if they do, just take a break like I plan to do. Somebody said probably 12-ish months due to contraception. Someone else said mine were gone for almost 6 months. A ton of you, again, SSRIs, just lost it this week, mental health or orgasm, I can't pick. We shouldn't have to.
Yeah.
It should be both. Yeah.
I was going to say the two are quite connected though.
They are.
Yeah, not a choice.
Yeah.
But I get that it can feel like one sometimes.
Yeah. And I would ask that you talk to your doctor about maybe Wellbutrin like I did, but we'll see. We'll see. Somebody who used to work with us said for more than a year and they don't feel the same as before, which that like when I have had them in the petered out time, they don't. Like it's not the same like, you know, like it's like, like
it's like squeezing out the bottom of a toothpaste.
Yeah.
And it's like,
and it's just like crusty and gross.
It's there, but this is not great.
Somebody else said probably a year and a half, and this is someone with a penis. Just so you guys know, it ran the gamut. Like anybody can lose them. And then one person said during some bad hangovers.
Huh.
Which,
well, I can't even get off my couch when I'm hungover, let alone do anything else.
Yeah. I haven't been hungover in a very long time because I haven't been drinking in a very long time.
Yeah.
But I've definitely had emotional hangovers, and this is what this whole year has felt like.
Yeah.
And then I asked the question, if you have gone through an O drought, do you know what caused it? 54% of you said anxiety/depression/stress. 13% said a medication change. 1% said recreational drugs. 32% said I'm not sure at all. Mm-hmm. Somebody said post-pregnancy trauma and depression paired with numbness from cesarean.
Yep.
That makes a lot of sense.
Brutal.
Somebody said depression. I was barely in the mood to eat and shower. Couldn't get the energy to orgasm. That feels like me. Someone said all of the above. One person, trigger warning, said my ex-partner died. Separated a few years, but still affected me. Kept thinking of him and all he did and crying.
It's so horrible. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Another person, after having a baby, another person said I was shamed into thinking it was wrong and that my body was not for myself, but for men. I think we've all heard that before, but I've never heard that as like you start it and then you stop it because of shame. Mm-hmm. Unless like you're like a kid and like your parents are like, don't do that. I think we've heard that story before.
Or maybe, are they saying that it never has happened maybe because...
No, they say they lost it.
Oh, they lost it.
Yeah. This person said, I think hormones, but every time I got tested, they said my hormones were normal. So some people just don't know. One person said it was due to her and her husband having less sex. And the more they have sex, the more she comes. Interesting. I'll call Ben. Another person said contraception. Another person said sickness. Another person said anxiety, depression, and the fucking pill. Birth control. One guy said mostly anxiety and stress and realizing I'm gay and can no longer force it with the opposite gender.
Congrats.
Yeah. Well, congrats.
Don't force it.
But yeah, he did get it back. So woohoo. And then another person's sickness and autoimmune issues. Yeah, I think anything where your body is feeling out of whack. And depression is a sickness.
Yeah, of course.
But also other sicknesses where things are like you're not able to get, this just sounds like depression, but you're physically ill.
Yeah. But like mental health and physical health are the same thing.
Yeah.
Your brain is your body. And it's like one of the literal most important parts of your body.
Just because you're not sneezing doesn't mean you're not sick.
Yeah. I also just feel like it feels harder to like deal with when it is mental health for people sometimes because it's like you want to be like, well, I have a cold. Like it's easier to put that in a little bucket and be like, okay, that'll be over.
Yeah.
But it's like when a doctor tells me or something that like my stomach aches or like due to stress and I'm like, okay, what do I do about that? Like I do the therapy. We are always searching for these like reasons. And sometimes I feel like the mental health reasons feel less tangible, even though they aren't less important. It's just the worst when it's like, it's all stress. I'm like, great. Now I'm stressed.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, okay, that's so nebulous.
Right.
Give me pill.
But it really is the best thing you can do in a perfect world, right? If you could be like, I'm just going to stop my brain from thinking about this thing and then come back to it at a later time. It's like in a scary standardized test when you're just like panicking about an answer. Come back to it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just, poof, I got it.
Back to it.
Or like spelling bee. You ever play spelling bee?
No, but my Lyft driver was this morning and I was terrified.
Whilst driving?
Whilst driving.
No. I only think about it because I'm like, sometimes I cannot think of a single word. And then I come back to it an hour later or like hours later and I get it immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everything, like just come back to it.
Do you want to hear something fun? My Wordle streak is the same day that I started no smoking. So every day that I complete my Wordle, it's like 35 days. And I'm like, both. Exciting. Of Wordle and weed. Yeah. Okay, so then I asked this question, which is kind of similar to another one, but I just wanted to be more precise. It was, if you have gone through a drought, how long did it take for you to get them back? 6% said years. 40% said months. 33% said weeks, and 20% said still hasn't returned. So it's not nice to know, but it's comforting that some of us are in the same boat together, so that we'll be on this journey of trying to get it back at the same time. And then I asked, if you had a drought and it did come back, what's the thing that brought them back? 33% said a new toy. 16% said changing medications. 20% said some type of porn. 30% said partnered sex. And then I asked people a little deeper into like what that was. One person said, I took a break from trying because I was so discouraged. So hard to say. Weeks, months. But then it came back. Somebody said, the pandemic changed things. I'm just now adjusting to, I think. I'm not used to being touched anymore. So getting there takes a lot more now that I've been single for so long. Mm-hmm. So partnered sex is the thing that was doing it for this person. Another person said they went on a new contraception and it changed things instead of their old birth control. Somebody said, I made a few life and medication changes and my depression became more bearable. That sounds like me. Somebody said yoga, which I'm like, oh my God, I should get back into yoga. That sounds really good, easy, and like less pressure than like a sex-based assignment.
Again, you can channel the energy elsewhere.
Yeah. Somebody said therapy got me to a better place mentally, and dating people who made me feel safer helped too. Somebody said trusting in my body again, new partners, regaining sensation. Well, I can't do that.
The new partner part.
The new partner part, but I do have somebody that I trust. Somebody said starting audio porn brought it back, just needed something new. I took a break with audio porn because I was just so depressed. I was like, I literally, the way that I didn't want to record with anybody because I was getting so jealous. I'm like, I don't want to hear about these fake people having amazing sex. Like it was making me like angry. Mm-hmm. And then I was getting like really down on myself. I was like, you have no place being the sex podcaster you are if you're feeling these feelings about like people just talking about nice experiences.
But that's what you do.
Right.
Because
no, I didn't start as an expert. I started as a idiot.
but like we're all idiots always, and none of us are idiots either. Like we're all just learning all the time.
Yeah. The person who lost someone said that they got it back with a new loving partner, with a relax and fix it together attitude, and take the pressure off it happening.
Yep.
That was in caps.
I mean, I think the biggest piece of pushback that people will give to this, including what we used to say to ourselves even, is like, I know I need to take the pressure off.
Yeah.
But it's hard.
Yeah.
And it is hard.
Yeah. This person said just starting to feel better mentally and changing toys up. A lot of people said that they used the magic wand, which I have always thought would be too hard for me, like too much. But I'm like, oh, maybe something more intense.
Honestly, usually going more and more and more
is not a good idea.
The way to go because of desensitizing. But it's like,
but maybe
a different toy.
Yeah. Somebody said taking a break from having sex with my boyfriend for 2-ish months helped bring them back. Someone else said patience. Someone said more frequent sex. Someone said chilling out while masturbating and in sex. And I asked him what? He said just chilling out more.
Oh, I thought you said insects. Like bugs.
No, like during sex. And I was like, can you like go into that more? And he said, I honestly can't tell what it is that works, but something close to mindfulness meditation. Mm-hmm. Also chilling out that I might not come, and that's okay because wanting real hard usually means I won't. So no, please, 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 please.
Absolutely.
And he's the one who said exercise helps.
Yeah, it's mindfulness and this like lack of pressure that's like just enjoy the journey. Yeah. Every therapist, everyone always says like just be in the moment. Yeah. Don't think about what may or may not happen.
Yeah.
Just I say just try. It's so fucking hard. I get it.
Yeah. Someone said prioritizing mental health, rest, sleep, etc. You can't be frisky when you're burnt out. And I am, or I was, and I'm getting better, but like so true. Somebody said after crappy partnered sex, I started seeking what I deserved. Yay. Someone said just talking through it. Maybe this will be helpful. Just expressing that this is something that I've been going through. Someone said embracing gay porn and a new toy, therapy, starting a different medication, Wellbutrin. I'm taking it and it increases my sex drive. It's delicious. And then a little further into the Wellbutrin, It's an NDRI, so it prevents the reabsorption of norepinephrine and dopamine. It's used to treat a lot of things, anxiety, depression, ADHD. It can aid in smoking cessation, and it's often prescribed to folks who complain of sexual dysfunction from SSRIs. I was so depressed for so long that I lost sight of myself, my sexuality, and the things I enjoy. Well, Butrin gave me back my life and my orgasms. I'm going to take this into my therapist and be like, look, anxiety's fine. And then somebody else said romance novels. And I was like, do you have a good recommendation for some companions? And she said, A Court of Thorns and Roses is always a good place to start. And most everyone loves reading the series. Romance novels really help me explore different kinks. I'm now a dark romance novel girly. And those book recs aren't for the faint of heart. So maybe we'll have to do a book episode at some point. And then someone else said, I started to see orgasms as a necessity versus optional. I had to see them as healthy. When I started having sex, orgasms were rare, and I was made to believe mine were like sweets. Good to have every now and then, but not all the time. After watching my partners, yes, multiple, I've grown, LOL, always get to have... Josh.
Baby.
Josh, go in your room.
I love you.
We love you. Okay, actually, you can listen to Walt. This isn't me saying this is someone else.
You're fine.
Oh my God, stop crinkling.
I know, I'm trying to get it out of here.
Okay, after watching my partners, yes, multiple, I've grown since, LOL, always get to have their sweets, quote unquote. I had to do some reflecting on my sexual self. After taking the time to actually learn how to guarantee my orgasms, i.e. plenty of toys that no longer charge and a weird trip through various porn sites, I now treat my orgasms like vitamins. If my body needs it, I owe it to myself to have them. I've been coming like an on my way text ever since.
On my way.
See, the thing with and I'm really happy for this person, but I have so many friends that will say on my way and they're in the shower.
100%.
They are a liar.
You know what I was just thinking about?
Mm-hmm.
So like obviously everybody as well is different. So what works and doesn't work is going to change from person to person.
100%.
But it's also just like where you're starting from and what situation you're in. So I think for the people who are like, just practice makes perfect. I'm like, that's totally true when you're at a place where you are not practiced enough.
That's where I was in the beginning.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like you have muscle memory and then, you grow accustomed to it. You get better at it. But if you're overusing those muscles, give them a break.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, no, I mean, one of my muscle memories that I was using was the clenching of the butt all the time. And I noticed in one time I was having sex with Ben, like I was so self-conscious about my body that I couldn't even do it. Like I was like, I don't even want to show you my clenched butt right now. And he was like, why? Like, I love it. It's cute, And I was like, this is just like, it was just I was hating everything, you guys. Like, I'm much better in my body now. But yeah, that was a huge thing.
Yeah.
Oh, so I asked the person who said talking about it. I was like, can you expand like with who? Therapist, partners, or a combo? And they said a combo and with friends. I lost mine through the anxiety of starting to date and have sex again after a long break following some significant emotional trauma, some relative to relationships and some unrelated. So it could be talking to a therapist. It could be talking to your partner. It could be talking to your friends. A combo. It could be me talking to you guys. And Charlotte. Oh, and then somebody else said breathing exercises helped, which I think is also part of like meditation and stuff.
Yeah.
So after doing those polls and after asking those questions, I was inspired. And I was also thinking back again to our earlier assignments and our earlier episodes. And I remember Lindsay Metzelar had said in episode 2 that she was like, I don't groom for other people, I groom for myself. And I had gotten into a headspace of thinking grooming was like wrong because I was like, oh, like it's the beauty industry and it's like all this stuff. And like those things can be true, but I also do find it a little sexier when I'm a little cleaned up. So I used like my little manscapey shaver. And I also had been noticing, TMI warning, that I was smelling differently down below. And we had done an episode of Diet Starts Tomorrow with Lo Bosworth from Laguna Beach fame.
Yeah.
But she started a company called Love Wellness. And one of the things that she sells is a suppository that like balances your pH if you're stinking or if you're smelling a little differently. And I popped one of those in one night and I felt a lot fresher the next day. Mm-hmm. The suppository is called Flora Power, and it's a vaginal probiotic. And they do warn you, it's like wear a thin pad to protect your undies because like expect some discharge. Also, it changed the color of my discharge. It went from like a normal white or a normal yellow to orange. Like it looked like I stuck a vitamin C tablet up there, which I was not too thrilled about. I didn't put a pad in because I was like, I discharge all the time. Who cares? Use the pad if you're going to use this thing. But it did help the smell for me. So that was good.
Self-care's sexy.
Yeah. And then I was like, I just need to, relax, right? And was thinking back to how on the Explained episode that I showed up on that Rachel Bloom was the narrator for that. So why not unwind with some Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, which I had never watched fully through. Mm-hmm. And I just started binging the shit out of that show. And there was a scene that made me feel so aroused.
Fun.
So fun. And so I reached for this toy, the Vush Empress 2, which when I received it a few months ago, I was like, oh, this is too intense. This is like fucking crazy. I fucking hate it, actually.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Cool.
So I had an orgasm yesterday.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
You've been bearing the lead this whole time?
Yeah.
I feel like I've been
tricked too.
My mouth is agape.
It is. I mean, this being said, though, I'm not going to say it was a one-time thing, but like I tried it later on that night. It didn't work again.
Well, don't try twice in a day. Lay off your vagina.
Right. And the second time I did try it, I wasn't aroused. I was just bored again. So thank you to Crazy Ex-Girlfriend for that moment of arousal and inspiration, and also like 3 days of binging. It has been fantastic. If you guys have not seen this show, it's so fucking good. There's a reason Rachel Bloom was picked to narrate that episode. They talk about every bodily function. There's an episode where they talk about the orgasm gap. There's an episode where like one guy is singing about how proud he is to have given her UTI because they were fucking so much. Like, it's a really...
The honeymoon UTI. Mm-hmm. Isn't that what it's called?
Mm-hmm. They also have a full song on period sex. It didn't make it in the show, but it exists now. They handle LGBTQ topics really, really well. There's a whole song called Getting By that I just loved. Also, they handle mental health in a really cool way, which also ties into this episode.
So true.
Really funny show, really informative. Also musical, which Charlotte was talking about, like the release of singing. These songs are so catchy. I was singing along. I wasn't singing while I was coming, but it's a sexy, sexy show. I was like, they shouldn't have called this Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. They should have called it Horny, Sexy, Amazing Ex-Girlfriend. I highly recommend.
Yeah.
And then... yeah, if you're going through a drought and you haven't sent your story in, please feel free to hit us up, DM us, How Come Podcast, and share your stories, because I think these are just as important as like the congrats stories. It's
100%.
Like it's kind of part of it.
I mean, it's interesting too that like it was hard for you to do this
episode
just the way it was in the beginning too. Like,
yeah,
things come in waves, and not all like progress is
linear.
Yeah.
Yeah. We made that up. we made up that quote.
No, but it's true.
Yeah, it is. And I'm really grateful to you for taking the time to come back on and chat with me, because
of course,
no matter how much I love our Robin, you are the closest person to me, and you started this journey with me. So it just felt really right.
Oh, I'm happy to be here. Even though you lied.
I didn't lie.
You called me today being like, I'm dealing with this thing. You have dealt with it.
I am still dealing with. That's the thing though. It's like
I just feel like a fool.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
I still want to do more assignments. I think if I invite more people on to the podcast, and I will, I'll be more willing to do that now. I will start taking assignments again, whether they're sexual or not, whether it's just exercising for 30 minutes a day, doing yoga, doing meditation, keeping up with my therapy, keeping up with the not smoking weed thing. By the way, I don't know if it's going to be no weed forever. That's just where I'm at right now. If you're going through a weed journey, you can contact me. Cold turkey works for a lot of people. It also doesn't work for a lot of people.
I just forgot to breathe for a while.
Yeah. She was looking really overwhelmed. You guys, don't forget to breathe. Breathing is also really important.
I forget constantly.
Sex and whenever I'm like posting like a long thing.
Oh yeah.
Or like talking to somebody like really intensely and like replying back or whatever, Ben will always be like, "Who are you talking to? Do you know them personally? And have you breathed in the last minute and a half?"
Always talking about how I make dad noises. Just like when I'm working or something, I'm like.
But yeah, I'm really happy that we finally did this.
I'm really proud. I really am.
Thanks. I'm proud of you. I'm also really proud of all the companions who like had their own droughts, got out of it, are still going through it. Like we're all just works in progress. And I'm so appreciative of you guys for sharing your stories too. I know I've helped a lot of you feel less alone and you helped me feel less alone. So yeah, thank you again. And should we get Josh on the mic for 1 sec? Does he want to?
He's eating his burrito on his desk.
Joshua? Okay, and now we're going to introduce you to the newest member of our family, light of our lives, Joshua.
Joshua.
Hi, everyone. I've never done this before. This is fun.
This show is all about firsts, and we're so excited to have you here as Charlotte's fiance and my first brother-in-law.
No, you're my sister, and I love both of you very much. And I love Charlotte.
Yeah, we love Charlotte. You guys, that's it for this week's episode. If you want to write in, we're at How Come Podcast. I'm at Remy Kassimir. Rate, review, and subscribe to the show. Charlotte, do you want to be found on the internet?
I'm private.
Ooh. And you know what? Sometimes you got to be private.
Yeah, it's too stressful for me.
For sure.
But if you're like a nice person and you message me like, "Oh, I've listened to the podcast," I always accept.
For sure. Yeah. So you can message Charlotte, message me, message the pod. And thank you so much for listening, you guys. This episode does not have video. We needed to take the pressure off. But if you want to see other episodes with video, go to patreon.com/howcome. Thank you so much to all of our patrons who have been supporting, especially during this drought. It means so much to us. Charlotte, I have to ask you a question after a sexual experience, which this has been. Did you finish?
Yep. Did you?
Listen, not today, but that's all right. I'm going to take a break.
It is all right. Yeah, you need to lay off.
Yeah. My assignment this week, or for the next 2 weeks, is just lay off. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to just put that thing in the drawer and chill out a bit.
Ask me.
Josh, did you finish your burrito?
It was really good. Super burrito in Williamsburg. Go there.
All right, you guys. Thank you again for listening. Thank you, Charlotte, for being here.
Proud of you, Rem.
Thank you. Thank you, Josh, for making our family complete. And we love you.
Love you.
We'll see you next time on How Come. Bye.
Bye.
Yay.
It's not you, it's me. I try so hard to finish honestly. They say you'll know when you go all the way from A right down to O. Oh no, I think that I still got a ways to go. Oh, I'm sick of this and I have got to know. How come I can't achieve? How come I can't achieve? I'm rolling up my sleeves. Oh baby, I believe these guests can help, 'cause I can't do it by myself. I wanna just...
Oh my God. You guys, she did it. She beat the level.
Oh my God, that was incredible.
What a release.
Seriously though, I feel like a different person.
We love to hear it. And finally, since you guys have all stuck around for the Marvel section, I want to give a shout out to the patrons who have stuck around. Let me know if I can read your last names another time, because Robin Kennedy used it as like her text alert for a long time, but I don't know what you guys want out there. So thank you, Angus. Thank you, Abby. Thank you, Michelle, Emma, Randy, Poutine, Priya, Chelsea, Sydney, Rick, Alexander, D-Town, Jergita, Susanna, Robert, Craig, Emily, Wendy, Megan, Alexis, Michelle, Morgan, another Rick, Maddie, Savannah, Mary, Amber, Zelly, Amy, Rebecca, LCD, Nicole, Pablo, Megan, Abby, Summer, Jordan, Bree, another Emily, Marion, Cheryl, Genevieve, F, and Sam. Thanks, guys. Obsessed with you.